Hi guys, Adriana here again. Back with another video, and I'm currently in my car. I just got out of class and I don't have my baby right now, obviously, because I was at school, so she's with her grandma right now. So I was figuring, like, I need to film this video, so I might as well just do it right now. Like, let's just bust it out real quick. And sorry if it sounds, you know, like weird, or if you can hear my AC. I have it on the lowest setting, but it's still kind of loud, so just ignore that. But anyways, hopefully no one walks by and looks at me or sits in their car or anything, because that would be awkward. I'm actually really excited to be talking about this story because I don't know how many pregnant people do you guys know that have gone to jail. Like, I mean, I might be over exaggerating this story a little bit, but no, I'm not even over exaggerating it at all. Like, this is what happened, so let's get to it. All right, so last year, like kind of around this time, it was October, and I had just found out I was pregnant in September, and I used to go and steal with my friends in high school and a little bit after we graduated. So we would just go on stealing sprees. We would go to Target or Walmart or literally any store you name it. We've probably gone to go steal clothes, makeup, food, just like anything. We stole so many things. Yeah, we were doing that probably for a good solid year without ever getting caught. So this one time, this peculiar time, I was pregnant. I think it was my first time stealing pregnant. It was. And I went with my friend, and I was 18 at the time and she was 17. So basically what we did was go in with empty bags. Don't know why. That was our fault. Why would we go in with empty bags and come out with them full, you know? Now that I look back at it, I'm like, that's a little suspicious. But anywho, we went in and we would just scan through aisles of what we needed. We literally would have a list on our phone of the things we needed and would like delete them as soon as we like dropped them in our purse. So, you know, we went through the whole store. It was Target, by the way. And we were just getting everything that we needed and dropping it in the bags. But at the same time, I wanted to also buy products so it doesn't look like we walked in and we're in there for like an hour and walked out with nothing. So I bought a couple things, you know, to make it look like that we were buying things and not just stealing. So after we finished stealing, we probably were like stealing for 30 minutes, but we go ahead and go to the checkout, and then everything's fine, you know. They ring up the items that they did think we had bought. As soon as we're exiting, right before we leave the exit, security stops us. Even though I knew I was stealing, I didn't think that I was getting caught for it, just because me and her were doing it for so long that we didn't think we were going to get caught. But obviously we did. So they took us to the back and they made us dump out our bags, and I guess me and her combined, we both ended up stealing like $60 worth of things. I don't know if that's like a lot. I guess it's a lot when you're stealing little things like contact solution, makeup wipes, scented candles, cotton swabs. Like, when you're stealing stuff like that, I feel like $60, it's a lot. Since I was 18 when it happened, they just called the cops on me since I'm technically an adult. And for my friend, they called her parents, and she was lucky enough to have parents that really weren't going to give her any punishment for it. So they just picked her up and they told her that she would later in the mail get a court date. That is, if they wanted to give her one. For me, the cops came and gave me a court date on the spot. Like, they already knew she's getting a court date. I didn't find this out until later, but I was committing 2 crimes. They're obviously misdemeanors, but one, petty theft, stealing, and the other one was because I had a minor with me. So I guess that was another crime, and I didn't even know. Court date ended up being in December, so I had 3 months until then, and I have never told my parents about this. They know now, obviously, but before, I was hiding it from them for the longest time. Obviously, the cops and like the people in Target, nobody knew that I was pregnant because I wasn't showing. I didn't show actually until like 6 months, I think. And fast forward to my court date, I think it was either December 3rd or December 5th, I can't remember. At this point, I was like around 20 weeks, almost 20 weeks. I wasn't showing still. So I go to the courthouse and I'm scared for my life because I don't know what to expect. They finally call my name up. I plead no contest. I was sentenced with a lot of punishment. So the first thing was obviously court fine. I think it was 250, 260, something like that. Another thing I had was a book and release, I'm sorry. I had to do a book and release, which is where they book you into jail, get your fingerprint, your mugshot, and all your information for a day. You sit in there. Once they're done processing everything, they say, all right, you're good to go. You can't go on your phone. You can't do anything, really. Basically, yeah, it's like a day in jail. That's what the book and release is. They sentenced me to that, and they also wanted me to do AWP, which is like work for the city. You know, you just pick up like trash and stuff like that, right? I also had 3 years informal probation, so I was banned from that target for 1 year, but 3 years informal probation is what they gave me, which is basically I had petty theft on my record, and it's still on there till this day. It hasn't even been 1 year yet. In October it'll be 1 year since that incident has happened. Then I'll have 2 more years of that on my record, which is like sucks because I probably won't get into like jobs this way. So I won't be able to expunge it for another 2 years. Fast forward, weeks go by, and I've already paid the fine. I've gone to the AWP office to sign up, and when I go to sign up, they give me this form to fill out, and it's just asking me basic questions like, do you have any medical or health concerns? And obviously I put no, and then one of the questions on there was like, are you pregnant? And I circled yes. And after I finished filling out the form, I gave it to them, the ladies at the office, and they went over it right in front of me and said, wait, you're pregnant? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, you can't do this. And I was like, hey. But they were like, you need to do something else. And I was like, oh. So obviously I couldn't do the AWP because when they wanted me to do it, I would have been 6 months, I think. So I don't know. It wasn't a pregnant woman's job. I think you had to carry like heavy stuff as well. So they decided to give me an alternative, and they were telling me you can either wear an ankle bracelet and be on house arrest for 3 days. You can pick those 3 days so you know in advance and can take your days off work if you need to or whatever, but no one can visit you and you can't leave your house. And obviously my parents didn't know about it, so I was just like anything but that. The other alternative was a day in jail. What did I choose? A day in jail. So basically the day in jail, she said, is like the book and release. And I haven't gone to my book and release yet, but she was saying that when you do go to the book and release, whatever happens there is what's gonna happen at your book and release. I mean, at your day in jail. And she was saying, but honestly, since you're pregnant, your day in jail won't be bad. They won't even want to keep you there that long because they're technically responsible for you if anything happens to you, and they don't want you, they don't want you to give birth there. So they might just look at you and only keep you for like 4 hours. And I was just like, oh, 4 hours. I ended up picking the day in jail. Day in jail was in March, and my book and release was probably the weekend after I signed up for the AWP. So it was coming soon. Weekend comes for my book and release, and it's basically, there's somebody coming, oh my god, sorry, someone was right there. But anyways, the weekend came for my book and release, and there was just a bunch of people, like a really good amount of people, and it was probably like a couple days, honestly, before Christmas. And I don't know what everyone was in trouble for. Everybody was in trouble for so many things, and I was just this pregnant woman there, and still not showing, there with just a little misdemeanor, and everyone that was actually there for like a reason, a real reason, a big reason too. So everybody had to take a little plastic bag and put their phones and loose articles in there, and the cops obviously had it in like a tote. And after that, they put everybody into a little room where they pat you down. So everybody had to get patted down and take off loose clothing like jackets, and we also had to take off our shoes and our socks. I don't know why, but we did. And they patted us all down. There were so many of us that they had to do 2 groups, because in that one room, the room was filled with one group and the room was filled with the other one. So after, I was in the first group, so after they let us in, they let the other people in, and we all just sat down. It was just like this, it kind of just was like detention, it wasn't jail. Like, people always think that I was like behind bars and everything and I had to stay the night. Like, no, it was just this big room. It kind of looked like a classroom, a bunch of chairs, a big TV on the wall, a desk over here for an officer, and another desk over here for an officer. And I was just sitting on the chairs with a bunch of other people, and I could tell you that it was kind of hard sitting still there when you're pregnant, because for some reason during my pregnancy I always felt like I was gonna faint. Like, I always felt like so hot and so like out of breath from doing nothing, and I would like have like a freak attack just sitting there not moving. Like, I don't know, that stuff was just really would freak me out a lot. So I mean, I really just had to like sit there and be uncomfortable, and I didn't want to say anything because that's embarrassing, a pregnant woman in jail. They were calling up our names in last name alphabetical order, and my last name is Vallejo, so I was at the end, and it took forever. The people that had their last names in the beginning obviously got to leave first, because they would let us go in groups of people, not just like, okay, you're done, go. It was in groups. So obviously I think I was the second to last group to leave, and I was there probably 4 or 5 hours just sitting there, not doing anything, not even talking to people. I mean, some people were talking to each other, but I wasn't talking to anybody because I was just like, I'm a little girl, bruh. I'm only 18. After they get my mugshot, my fingerprint, and all my information, they tell me to go sit back down. I wait like another like 30 minutes, and then they finally call up our last group and say, you guys are good to go. We leave. And that was it for the day. That was it for my book and release. Then a couple months later, March comes around, and I'm 7 months pregnant, and I am showing full-blown belly out and everything. So I wore something tight so everyone could see that I'm pregnant, because I wanted them to see, all right, this girl's pregnant, let's get her out of here. So I go, and it's like the same thing. There was only me, another girl, and 2 guys. So we go do the same process again, you know, put our phone in the bag or whatever, and then get patted down, and we go into the other room and sit there. This process obviously didn't take as long because there wasn't as many people, and because I was pregnant. And so they took my mugshot again, fingerprint, and got all my information. And they really only kept me there at that day in jail, sitting in those chairs for only 40 minutes. Everything was 40 minutes. Getting my fingerprint, my name and information, and my mugshot. And I sat there for only 40 minutes. But it was even harder to like contain myself then, because I was pregnant and big, and I felt so hot, and like I needed water, and like it was too stuffy in the room for me. Like, I needed fresh air. Like, I thought I was gonna faint or something. Like, I just didn't feel good. Luckily they got me out of there as soon as they could, and after that I never had to do anything else. That was the last of my jail time. And till this day I still have the informal probation, like I said, 2 more years, and I can get that expunged hopefully. But that's pretty much what went down. I went to jail pregnant. Really quick, I forgot to mention that my friend, that's for her, she ended up not getting a court date, so I had to do all that stuff. I had to pay a fine, I had to go to jail, and I had to do a book and release, all when I was pregnant. My friend, nothing. She went down to the juvie, and they told her, well, you seem like a good girl, like we don't want to like interfere with your work and your school, even though she's not going to school. They told her, you're off the hook. She has no record. I have petty theft and all that stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe and share this video. Comment down below what you guys think my next video should be about, or what I should do. I'm down for anything video wise. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm gonna go pick up my baby. Bye, guys.